The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. Part 1. He was an old man who fished alone in a skiff in the Gulf Stream, and he had gone 84 days now without taking a fish. In the first 40 days, a boy had been with him, but after 40 days without a fish, the boy's parents had told him that the old man was now definitely and finally sallow, which is the worst form of unlucky, and the boy had gone at their orders in another boat, which caught 3 good fish the first week. It made the boy sad to see the old man come in each day with his skiff empty, and he always went down to help him carry either the coiled lines, or the gaff and harpoon, and the sail that was furled around the mast. The sail was patched with flour sacks, and furled it looked like a flag of permanent defeat. The old man was thin and gaunt, with deep wrinkles in the back of his neck, the brown blotches of the benevolent skin cancer the sun brings from its reflection on the tropic sea were on his cheeks. The blotches ran well down to the sides of his face, and his hands had the deep creased scars from handling heavy fish on the course, but none of these scars were fresh. They were as old as erosions in the fishless desert. Everything about him was old except his eyes, and they were the same color as the sea, and were cheerful and undefeated. Santiago, the boy said to him as they climbed the bank from where the skiff was hauled up, I could go with you again. We've made some money. The old man had taught the boy to fish, and the boy loved him. No, the old man said, you're with the lucky boat. Stay with him. But remember how you were 87 days without fish, and then we caught big ones every day for 3 weeks. I remember, the old man said. I know you did not leave me because you doubted. It was Papa made me leave. I was a boy and I must obey him. I am a boy and I must obey him. I know, the old man said. It is quite normal. He hasn't much faith. No, the old man said. But we have, haven't we? Yes, the boy said. Can I offer you a beer on the terrace and then we'll take the stuff home? Why not? The old man said. Between fishermen. They sat on the terrace and many of the fishermen made fun of the old man as he was not angry. Others of the older fishermen looked at him and were sad, but they did not show it, and they spoke politely about the current and the depth as they drifted their lines at and steady good weather, and what they had seen, and of what they had seen. Part 2. The successful fishermen of that day were already in and butchered their marten out and carried them laid full length across 2 planks. The 2 men staggered at the end of each plank to the fish house where they waited for the ice truck to carry them to the market in Havana. Those who had caught sharks had taken them to the shark factory on the other side of the cove, where they were hoisted on the block and tackle, their livers removed, their fins cut off, and their hinds skinned out of their flesh, cut into strips for salting. When the wind was in the east, a smell came across the harbor from the shark factory, but today there was only a faint edge of the odor because the wind had fanned into the north and then dropped off, and it was pleasant and sunny on the terrace. Santiago, the boy said. Yes, the old man said. He was holding his glass and thinking of many years ago. Can I go out to the sardines? Can I go out to get the sardines for you tomorrow? No, go and play baseball. I can still roll with Rolingo and Rolingo will throw the net. I would like to go. If I cannot fish with you, I would like to serve in some way. You bought me a beer, the old man said. You are already a man. How old was I when you first took me in the boat? 5, and you nearly were killed when I bought the fish too green, and he nearly tore the boat into pieces. Can you remember? I can remember the tail slapping and the banging and the thwart breaking and the noise of the clubbing. I can remember you throwing me into the bow where the wet coiled lines were and feeling the whole boat shiver and the noise of you clubbing him like chopping a tree down and the sweet blood smell over me. Can you really remember that, or did I just tell you? I remember everything from when we first went together. The old man looked at him with his sunburned, confined, confident, loving eyes. If you were my boy, I would take you out and gamble, he said. But you're your father's and your mother's, and you're in a lucky boat. May I get the sardines? I know where I can get 4 baits too. I've mine left from today. I put them in salt in the box. Let me get 4 fresh ones. One, the old man said. His hopes and his confidence had never gone, but now they were freshening as the breeze rises. Two, the boy said. Two, the old man agreed. You didn't steal them? I would, the boy said, but I bought these. Thank you, the old man said. He was too simple to wonder when he attained humility, but he knew he attained it, and he knew it was not disgraceful, and it carried no loss of true pride. Tomorrow is going to be a good day with this current, he said. Where are you going? The boy asked. Far out to come in when the wind shifts. I want to be there. I want to be out before it is light. I'll try to get him to work far out, the boy said. Then if you hook something truly big, we can come to your aid. He does not like to work far out, no, the boy said, but I will see something that he cannot see, such as a bird working, and get him to come out after a dolphin. Are his eyes that bad? He is almost blind. It is strange, the old man said he never went turtling. That's what kills the eyes. But you went turtling for years off the Mosquito Coast and your eyes are good. I'm a strange old man. But are you strong enough now for a truly big fish? I think so. And there are many tricks. Let us take the stuff home, the boy said, so I can get the cast net and go after the sardines. They picked up the gear from the boat. The old man carried the mast on his shoulders and the boy carried the wooden box with the coiled, hard-braided brown lines, the gaff and the harpoon with the shaft. The box with the baits was under the stern of the skiff along with the club that was used to subdue the big fish when they were brought alongside. No one would steal from the old man, but it was better to take the sail and the heavy lines home as the dew was bad for them, and though he was quite sure no local people would steal from him, the old man thought that a gaff and a harpoon were needless temptations to leave in a boat. They walked up the road together and to the old man's shack and Went in through its open door. The old man leaned the mast with his warped sail against the wall, and the boy put the box and the other gear up beside it. The mast was nearly as long as the one room of the shack. The shack was made of the tough butt shields of the royal palm, which are called guano, and in it there was a bed, a table, one chair, and a place on the dirt floor to cook with charcoal. On the brown walls of the flattened, overlapping leaves of the sturdy fibered guano there was a picture in color of the Sacred Heart of Jesus and another of the Virgin of Cobri. These were relics of his wife. Once there had been a tinted photograph of his wife on the wall. Once there had been a tinted photograph of his wife on the wall, but he had taken it down because it made him too lonely to see it, and it was on the shelf in the corner under his clean shirt. What do you have to eat? The boy asked. A pot of yellow rice with fish. Do you want some? No, I will eat at home. Do you want me to make the fire? No, I'll make it later on, or I may eat the rice cold. May I take the cast net? Sure. There was no cast net, and the boy remembered when they had sold it. But they went through his fiction every day. There was no pot of yellow rice and fish, and the boy knew this too. 85 is a lucky number, and the old man said. How would you like to see me bring one that dressed out over 1,000 pounds? I'll get the cast net and go for sardines. Will you sit in the sun in the doorway? Yes, I have yesterday's paper and I will read the basketball. The boy did not know whether yesterday's paper was a fiction too, but the old man brought it out from under the bed. Federico gave it to me at the bodega, he explained. I'll be back when I have the sardines. I'll keep yours and mine together on ice so we can share them in the morning. When I come back, you can tell me about the baseball. The Yankees cannot lose. But I fear the Indians of Cleveland. Have faith in the Yankees, my son. Think of the great DiMaggio. I fear the Tigers of Detroit and the Indians of Cleveland. Be careful, or you will fear even the Reds of Cincinnati and the White Sox of Chicago. You study it and tell me when I come back. Do you think we should buy a terminal of the lottery with an 85? Tomorrow is going to be the late 85th day. We can't do that. We can't do that. The boy said. But what about the 87th? What about the 87th of your great record? It could not happen twice. Do you think you can find an 85? Can order one sheet. That's $2 and a half. Who can we borrow that from? That's easy. I can always borrow $2 and a half. I think perhaps I can too, but I try not to borrow. First you borrow, then you beg. Keep warm, old man, the boy said. Remember we're in September, the month when the great fish come. The old man said, anyone can be a fisherman in May. I go now for the sardines, the boy said. When the boy came back, the old man was asleep in the chair and the sun was down. The boy took the old army blanket off the bed and spread it over the back of the chair and over the old man's shoulders. They were strange shoulders, still powerful, although very old. And the neck was still strong, too. And the creases did not show much when the old man was asleep and his head fallen forward. His shirt had been patched up so many times that it was like the sail, and the patches were faded to many different shades by the sun. The old man's head was very old though, and with his eyes closed there was no life in his face. The newspaper lay across his knees, and the weight of his arm held it there in the evening breeze. He was barefooted. The boy left him there, and when he came back, the old man was still asleep. Wake up, old man, the boy said, and put his hand on one of the old man's knees. The old man opened his eyes for a moment. He was coming back from a long way away. Then he smiled. What have you got? He asked. Supper, said the boy. We're going to have supper. I'm not very hungry. Come and eat. You can't fish and not eat. I have. The old man said, getting up and taking the newspaper and folding it. Then he started to fold the blanket. Keep the blanket around you, the boy said. You'll not fish without eating while I'm alive. Then live a long time and take care of yourself, the old man said. What are we eating? Black beans and rice, fried bananas, and some stew. The boy had brought them a two-decker metal container from the terrace. The two sets of knives and forks and spoons were in his pocket, with a paper napkin wrapped around each set. Who gave this to you? Martin, the owner. I must thank him. I thanked him already, the boy said. You don't need to thank him. I gave him the belly meat of a big fish, the old man said. Has he done this for us more than once? I think so. I must give him something more than the belly meat then. He is very thoughtful for us. He sent 2 beers. I like the beer in cans best. I know, but this is in bottles. Pound 2 beer. And I take back the bottles. That's very kind of you, the old man said. Should we eat? I've been asking you to, the boy told him gently. I have not wished to open the container until you were ready. I am ready now, the old man said. I only needed time to wash. Where do you wash? The boy thought. The village water supply was 2 streets down the road. I must have the water here for him, the boy thought, and soap, and a good towel. Why am I so thoughtless? I must get him another shirt and a jacket for the winter and some sort of shoes and another blanket. Your stew is excellent, the old man said. Tell me about the basketball, the boy asked him. Is the American League in the American League in the American League, is it the Yankees? As I said. In the American League, it is the Yankees, as I said. the old man said happily. They lost today, the boy told him. That means nothing. The great Dimangio is himself again. They have another man in the team, naturally, but he makes the difference. In the other leagues, in the other league between Brooklyn and Philadelphia, I must take Brooklyn. Then I think of Dick Sisler and those great drivers in the old park. There was nothing ever like him, like them. He hits the longest ball I have ever seen. Part 6. Do you remember when he used to come to the terrace? I wanted to take him out fishing, but I was too timid to ask him. Then I asked you to ask him, and you were too timid. I know, it was a great mistake. He might have gone with us. Then we would have that for all of our lives. I would like to take the great Dimangio fishing, the old man said. They say his father was a fisherman. Maybe he was as poor as we are and would understand. The great Sisler's father was never poor, and he, the father, was playing in the big leagues when he was my age. When I was your age, I was before the mast on a rigged ship that ran to Africa, and I have seen lions on the beaches in the evening. I know, you told me. Should we talk about Africa or about basketball? Basketball, I think, the boy said. Tell me about the great John G. McGraw, he said Rhoda for G. J. He used to come to the terrace sometimes, too, in the older days, but he was rough and harsh-spoken and difficult when he was drinking. His mind was on horses as well as baseball. At least he carried lists of horses at all times in his pocket and frequently spoke of the names of horses on the telephone. He was a great manager, the boy said. My father thinks he was the greatest because he came here the most times, the old man said. If Durocher had continued to come here each year, your father would think he is the greatest manager. Who is the greatest manager, really? Uki or Mike Gonzalez? I think they're equal, at least, and the best fisherman is you. No, I know others better. Give up, the boy said. There are many good fishermen, and some great ones, but there's only you. Thank you. You make me happy. I hope no fish will come along. So great. I hope no fish will come along so great that he will prove us wrong. There is no such fish, if you're still strong as you say. I may not be as strong as I think, the old man said, but I know many tricks, and I have resolution. You ought to go to bed now, so you'll be fresh in the morning. I'll take the things back to the terrace. Good night then. I'll wake you in the morning. You're my alarm clock, the boy said. Age is my alarm clock, the old man said. Why do old men wake so early? Is it to have one longer day? I don't know, the boy said. All I know is that younger boys sleep late and hard. I can't remember it, the old man said. I'll wake you in some time. I did not like him to wake me. It is though I were inferior. I know. Sleep well, old man. The boy went out. They had eaten with no light on the table, and the old Anne took off his trousers and went to bed in the dark. He rolled his trousers up to make a pillow, putting the newspaper inside them. He rolled himself in the blanket and slept on the old newspapers that covered the springs of the bed. He was asleep in a short time as he dreamed of Africa when he was a boy, and the long golden beaches and the white beaches, so wide they hurt your eyes, and the high capes and the great brown mountains. He lived along he lived along that coast. Now every night in his dreams he heard the surf roar and saw the native boats come riding through it. He smelled the tar and oakum of the deck as he slept, and he smelled the smell of Africa that was the land breathed spot at morning. Usually when he smelled the land breeze, he woke up and dressed and waked the boy. But tonight the smell of the land breeze came very early, and he knew it was too early in his dream, and went on dreaming to see the white peaks with the island rising from sea, and he dreamed of the different harbors and roadsteads of the Canary Islands. He no longer dreamed of storms, nor of women, nor of great occurrences, nor of great fish, nor fights, nor contests of strength, nor of his wife. He only dreamed of places now, and the lions on the beach. They played like young cats in the dusk, and he loved them as he loved the boy. He never dreamed about the boy. He simply woke, looked out at the open door, at the moon, and unrolled his trousers, and put them on. He urinated outside the shack, and went up the road to wake the boy.